Welcome to Style with Trish. I'm your host, Trish Standley, and today my guest is designer Eden Aruna. Stay tuned.
Every day a woman reigns. It's time to live your dreams. Nothing's gonna stop you now. Just keep going, keep going, keep going. Every day a woman reigns. Every day a woman reigns.
Welcome to Style with Trish. I'm your host, Trish Standley, and I have an amazing guest to share with you. She is a designer. She's a beautiful spirit, and she's my friend. Her name is none other than Eden Aruna. Welcome to Style with Trish.
Hi, how are you?
Doing good. We were kind of reminiscing prior to the show about how we met. We don't even remember how we met.
I know, right?
I'm going to lean more. We're going to lean more toward it was at a fashion show. We'll stick with that one.
Yeah, I know. I tried remembering, and I was like, I couldn't even remember. But I believe it was a fashion show.
Yeah, you used to at one point live here in the city of Atlanta. You've now moved on. I know you very well, but introduce us to who you are, audience, to who you are and how you got started in fashion.
Sure. Like she said, my name is Eden Aruna. I'm a fashion designer, and I'm originally from West Africa, Sierra Leone to be specific. And I have been designing now for about, I want to say about 13 years altogether. And I really enjoyed it quite a bit. It's mostly African inspired, or African print, I should say. And just terms of my culture and where I come from and what I've gotten used to seeing around with my family and my parents. So I started with clothing, but now I do a lot more of accessories. So, and I'm based in I was gonna say Atlanta, Georgia. I'm based in Las Vegas, Nevada, because I've traveled so much. So sometimes I like forget where I'm at.
And so you went, when you started out, you designed, what was your aesthetic when you were still designing clothing?
It was more of a mixture of like using a lot of tribal African print, but making it more contemporary. Because I remember when I was growing up as a young girl, seeing my mom or seeing my family wearing the traditional African wear, I always kind of didn't feel very like comfortable in it. And I told myself, okay, when I grow up, I want to design something that I would like to wear. So that is kind of where that came from. So a mixture of just African and, you know, making the styles more contemporary.
Yeah. And you had done a piece we were talking about, for me, I was hosting a red carpet at an award show, and it was just so different. It was like, I don't know what that print is, you call it, but it was butterfly. You called it butterfly kind of cut top.
Yes, the style was more of a butterfly effect. Whenever I did a lot of clothing, which eventually I plan to, I love to drape. So just like taking fabric, beautiful fabric, and just kind of having fun with it. So that's kind of what I did with the style that you had gotten from me that I designed. And it was really beautiful, like the colors, because it was multicolor. The pattern was just full of amazing, bright, vibrant colors, and it kind of really inspired me to get the design. So yeah, and it was a really beautiful long flowing skirt, because I remember you said you wore it to a red carpet.
Yeah, it was a independent gospel award show, and they had me come and host it. And this was before you were doing as many accessories. You had made me a clutch as well, and that thing is still bad. I mean, it is. I can't wait to get into your pieces. The name of your company is John plus Julianna. How did you come up with that name? Why that name?
So John plus Julianna is actually the name of my parents. And interestingly, when I was, I had different names before, but to be honest with you, with my brand, I always kind of wanted to be in the back scene. I never really wanted to be like the spotlight of what I'm doing. I always wanted my product or my design to speak for themselves. And I never really wanted my name. So even though I started initially with my name, but eventually I knew that I was going to change it. And unfortunately, when my father passed away in 2017, it just made sense for me to be able to use that as an inspiration to change the name. Because honestly, my mom and dad has always been a great inspiration to me, which my dad, may his soul rest in peace, was a very influential architect in Sierra Leone. And then my mom was also a teacher and she tie-dyed. So I'm like, wait a minute, like it just makes perfect sense. And to be honest with you, I think I looked up the name to make sure, you know, I could have it. And John and Juliana was already taken in terms of the website. And then I also thought to myself, you know, I'm a Christian and I just felt like the plus reminded me of the cross, you know, like just kind of like being able to tie that together. And I was like, you know what's perfect, John plus Juliana. So that's kind of how I came up with the name.
That's amazing. It's funny. I use the name of my business is Jan's Joy Ministries, named after my mom. But I use in my emblem, I use the cross as well because she centered us in the word and in church. And so I kind of have similar stories in that aspect. And she's a designer. She don't want to claim it, but she is a designer as well. What was the transition from, and I know you said you may be considering going back into, well, you got to, because you designed my cake for my photo shoot. So you'll be going back into clothing as well. But what was the transition from going from doing clothing to just focusing on accessories? What was that transition like?
So to be honest with you, after my many travels, of course, and to be honest, a lot of my travels that I've done, just living in different places, most of it has been inspired in terms of pursuing my dream as a designer, just trying to find like where I fit or where I could grow or grow more in terms of my business. So when I finally ended up moving to Las Vegas from California, I just felt like it was taking a lot more investment in doing clothing. And the reason I said that, because when it comes to clothing, everyone has a different shape, different size, you know, a different body type. So I was kind of running into that dilemma quite often, because if I made something, it most of the time was very specific. So then I thought about it. I was like, wait a minute, like accessories is perfect. It doesn't have anything to do with sizing, and anyone can purchase it for someone. You know what I mean? So then I kind of just tried, which, like you said, I had always done accessories as well, but I just felt like it made sense to go full force. So I was like, you know what? I've done the clothing, I've given it all, and it's not working right now, but there's nothing wrong with me trying another avenue. And I did, and I'm grateful to God that I did, because it kind of just expanded to what it is behind me right now. So, so yeah, it's been fun. It's been interesting. I've had to learn and teach myself a lot of things that I did not know, but you know, as an artist, that's how you grow. So
that's very innovative and inspiring, because and the reason why I wanted you to explain that is because a lot of times when we are pursuing our dreams, we may hit a temporary wall, but how do you maneuver it? How do you maneuver? And I think that's excellent. That was an excellent choice for you to just focus on accessories. We're gonna take a look at a couple of your pieces. We'll actually talk about one piece in particular. But just before we go to break, name a few of the accessories that you have that you offer.
Yeah, so some of the accessories that I have interlocking headbands, I have head wraps, I have makeup bags, I have crossbody bags, I have tote bags in different sizes. So those are some of the items that I carry, and many more, of course, but those are like some of the most common ones that I do have available.
Okay, well, we're going to take a really quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about my special bag, and then we'll check in with you on a couple of what you're doing next and what all you have going on. We'll be right back, guys. We'll be right back. Welcome to Trish's Treasures. This is where I share some of my favorite beloved products that I use on myself with you. Another one of Trish's treasures is this beautiful tote right here. This tote is, of course, as you see, with African print. But I throw, when I'm coming to the studio like today, as you see, I have a lot in here that I throw in here. From shoes to clothes to cosmetics. But this is made by John and Julianna. And they are, of course, Black owned. They have different types of totes. She has skirts that she designs. She actually has a piece coming up at my next photo shoot that I will be sporting of hers. But Eden is an amazing woman and talent. I've been working with her since 2016, somewhere around there. And so she's very a great person and a wonderful creative. So make sure you go check her out. This is John and Julianna. They are on social media, and it is Black owned as well as a Trish treasure.
Hi guys, it's Dr. Cassandra Parks Evans, affectionately known as Dr. San, and this is your segment of Let's Learn Love. And today we're talking about living single. Yes, it's more than just the old TV show that used to come on. One of the things that we should do before we become a husband or a wife is make sure that we work on ourselves. That is very important. We want to make sure that we're representing the best that we can in ourselves and to others so they can see the potential and the qualities that you have in you. So you always want to make sure that you are eating right, sleeping right, in good mental health and taking those mental breaks. And also we want to make sure that even though it may not seem like it, we want to get involved in the community. Why do we want to get involved with the community? It gives us a sense of being and a sense of work, which is always good when you want to present yourself to somebody new. It is very important that we represent and get ourselves ready for our next companion because we want to make sure that we're representing the best us that we possibly can. We want to make sure that we're good for our next partner, and we want to make sure that we complement our next partner and not complete them. So let me know what you think. This has been Dr. Sam with your Let's Learn Love segment for today. Until then, goodbye.
Welcome back to Style with Trish. We're continuing our conversation with designer Eden Aruna, who is reigning from Nevada. Before the break, we were you was sharing with us what type of accessories that you create and you design, and my bag in particular, you had texted me, I think, inboxed me and said, "Hey Trish, what's your address? I have something I want to send you," but you never told me what. But you know, I got excited because I said it's gonna be something good. And lo and behold, I got the best tote bag ever. This particular tote bag, why that size? Or why do you do different sizes? But for this particular one, I needed that size. But share the different sizes and describe this particular bag to our audience.
Sure. Yeah. So every time I make something, to be honest, most of the time it's based on either something that I need or something that a customer requests.
Okay.
And just, because the whole idea for my brand is to be able to make collection that's functional, everyday stuff. So with the bags, especially with the tote bags, there's two different sizes that I have right now. So I actually have a smaller size of the one you have called the Eden tote, which that one was inspired based off just like my everyday, gotta go, gotta work, my iPad in my bag and whatever else. So it's like a medium size. It's not too small. It's not too big. But then the bag that you have is actually called the Bow Weekend bag, which actually Bow is the name of a city in Sierra Leone. And I just kind of imagine taking a trip from the city, which is called Freetown, to Bow. So it's the weekend bag. So your bag now has a strap to it, a crossbody strap. So if it got too heavy or if you have to hold other things, you can use it as a crossbody. But then it also has the handle, the short handles that you can use, if you got to put it in your arm or whatever you got to do. So I try to make it as functional as possible. And also just being able to improve what I've made before, because I've made tote bags many, many times, but I'm always trying to make it better. So I added a zipper, I added pockets, which yours was actually probably one of the first 5 bags that I made. And I thought about you, and I was like, you know what? I know she would love this print, because I try to remember based on the top you had ordered before, and just thought to give you a gift, since you've been always sweet and amazing and a great friend. So
yeah, I love it. I love it. I usually carry it to the studio. I didn't today because I tried not to carry so much stuff this time for taping, but I do usually carry it with me, and we actually have it featured in our Trish's Treasures. So we're going to highlight that particular bag as well. I'm excited about that. You touched on one thing that I kind of wanted to expand on as well. You solely, and you said this, you solely use African print. How it always seems like it's difficult to, and expensive to purchase African print. Has that been the case for you?
It is. It can be expensive, but I found ways around it. So usually I get my fabrics from a variety of places. A lot of times when I travel, like whenever I go back home to Africa, or the one little secret that I have to share with the African culture is that almost everyone asks a friend or a family member to bring items from for them when they're coming from home. So like sometimes I have maybe my mom or my sister or cousins bring items for me when they're coming, or whenever I go, I get some. So that kind of helps with the cost a little bit. And then sometimes I also, whenever I go to Washington, D.C., because I grew up in Maryland, I also go shopping there just because it's a little bit cheaper. But I do love using African print just because it's different. It stands out. It's very youthful. It's colorful. It's bright. It's exciting. So I never really worried too much about what it costs. So, and it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I love it. I love the African print. You designed and created a cape for my actually was my birthday photo shoot. And to this day, I get so many compliments on that. You're probably going to get more orders.
Actually, I've already gotten an order.
Really? Oh my goodness. Excellent. That's how we like it to happen. But you also sent me, which was another gift, a small purse that is so cute. It matches it, and it has the chain arm. But you also, you said, "Oh, Trish, I forgot to send you the other strap." And so share that how you work that, because the purse, that particular purse, it's small, but it has the chain for the arm strap, and then you also have it if I just want to put it around my wrist and carry it. How convenient is that? But share, do you do that to all your pieces, or are there certain pieces that you do that for?
So, like I said, I try to do pieces that's versatile and functional. So, you know, especially today, in our world, you want to be able to get the most for your money. So every time I make a piece, I try to think, okay, how else can you use it? So with that's actually called the Julie wristlet. And with that bag, it's like, maybe it's a little bit bigger than the wallet size, but you could use it as a wallet. Because everything detaches. So the little handle for the wristlet part, you can also detach that. So it can be used as a wristlet. It can be, you can take those off and you can use it as a wallet if you want it. But it also has the gold chain, which the gold chain, you can use it as a crossbody, but you can also use it as a waist bag, which I actually didn't show you, right? So I need to show you. But the chain, like you can, you loop it into the little gold ring and go around you. So it doesn't matter what size, to be honest with you. You can kind of adjust it based on your waist size, to be honest.
Wow. That is so innovative. I can't wait to show and share that one, because that one is hanging at the end of my closet, because I'm trying to rock the right outfit with it when I wear it. So I didn't even think of wrapping it around it being a body wrap. So your hands free, basically. Almost like the pouch things that everybody's wearing. Okay.
Yeah, kind of like a mini fanny pack. I mean, whatever you want to call it. But like, yeah, there's so many ways you can wear it, to be honest, so many ways.
Yeah, that cape is like, it's like my favorite piece right now. I'm trying to think of other ways, because I could wear them with, I don't really like wearing shorts, but because it covers, I could pair it with shorts, I could pair it with jeans, I can pair it with stretch pants. I don't even remember how, I had the tube dress under it. And what's amazing is I was going through IG and I said, you know what? Let me go over here and see what Eden has. And so when I went over, I looked and I was like, okay, and I saw all the accessories, and I said, I'm gonna inbox her and see if she'll make me a piece. And sure enough, what did it take you, a week, maybe a week and a half, and I had my product. I thank you for that. For anyone who's trying to really say they hit a wall, maybe they've been going toward their dreams and they hit a stumble, and they need encouragement on how to pivot. Do you have any words of encouragement for that person that's kind of stuck a little bit?
Absolutely. To be honest, I would say I'm an example, because I've been there before, where I literally did put my everything into it, but I felt like I wasn't going any further. So just kind of redirecting yourself, because I think that's the biggest thing, to be honest with you. I think that's just in life. As we know, everything changes except for God, So it's like God is the only thing that does not change, but everything else in our life, whatever the situation, relationship, business, it doesn't matter. It's constantly changing. So just being able to embrace that. Like, if you're doing one thing or designing one thing and it's not working out for you, try something else, and just see kind of where that goes. Because to be honest, it's really trial and failure, because nobody really knows. There are people who are doing bags, but nobody knows about them. And they may be the most amazing bags. So it just kind of depends, you know what I mean? And once I started making bags, the people's reaction they just love them. And I'm very grateful to God for that. But yeah, just being open-minded and trying new things and not being afraid. Because sometimes we do kind of get comfortable in what we're doing. Like when I started with clothing, I was very comfortable with that. It was what I had started with. It's what I had known. Growing up as a little girl, I started sewing clothes for my dolls. So that's all I really knew. I never really made bags. So like that was a whole nother ball game for me. But I tell you, it's been fun. I love it. And it's just been exciting. So that's really what I could say, is just being open-minded and not being afraid to try other things.
Yes, that's awesome. Well, thank you for hanging out with me. Where can we find and purchase your products?
Well, first, I have to say thank you so much again for having me, Trish. I absolutely appreciate it. You're awesome. You're wonderful. And I've always been very inspired by you, because you're very sweet and just really love people. So thank you so much for having me. For my products, I have a website now. Thank God. It's johnplusjuliana.com, JOHNPLUSJULIANA. So .com. That's where you find most of my items. And also my social media platform is the same thing, John Plus Juliana, on my Instagram, on my Facebook. And you can also contact me or message me on those platforms. And yes, or if you're ever in Las Vegas, hit me up. You can always stop by my home store. As you can see behind me, lots of products. So yes.
I have one more question. Why is it so important to self-promote? Because I see that you're on Facebook, you're doing the lives and you're doing it and you're putting your name out there. Why is that important?
Well, I believe it's important because, number one, people have to see your product. And to be honest with you, that can be a challenge for me as well, because that's not so much my focus sometimes. I'm kind of busy just trying to design. But it is important. If people don't know your stuff, they're not going to buy it. You know what I mean? They're not going to talk about it. They're not going to share it with others. But I feel like also kind of putting yourself out there, which, by the way, I wasn't always the most, like I said, I don't like to be in front of spotlight, but it is helpful because people can relate to you.
Yes.
People see who you are. They see your personality. And, you know, it's like if you make mistakes, it's okay. If it doesn't go the way you want, it's okay. You'll be your authentic self. And that's part of being a brand or a designer. So it does help a lot to just kind of put your fears to the side and just open yourself to the world, because that's really what you're doing when you're on social media.
Well, thank you for hanging out with me. Okay, guys, we will be right back. I'm often asked the question, why the title Style with Trish? And to answer that question is very simple. For me, style isn't just what's on the outer appearance of a woman. It is what is on the inside, which is actually more important. And so what we want to do and how we want to incorporate that into our show is that we excitedly bring on guests who feed into the building of self-esteem, as far as mental health and improving yourself, self-help. We bring guests on and experts on to actually help us build those areas, increase those areas to make us a better us on the inside. Once we're built healthily on the inside, then we can start rocking out the outer look. Outer look is the easiest part to redo, to fix. The inner is what's the most difficult. So style isn't just what's on the outside. It actually starts with what you possess on the inside. Hey guys, this is Trish Standley. Catch up on season 1 of Style with Trish by going to trishstanley.com. If you are not able to catch the show on YouTube, make sure you go to my website, trishstanley.com, and check out our podcast. I'd like to thank my guest today, Eden Aruna, for coming and hanging out with us and showing us and sharing with us her story. One of the things that she said is that we have to keep our minds open to other opportunities, other avenues, when and if we hit that stumbling block in our lives or in our journeys. And so that is so very true. Stay open, pray to God, and He will lead and guide you, is her words. Thank you guys for joining us. And as always, love isn't love unless you give it away.